Wario Land has always seemed like one of Nintendo's more ignored IPs, despite its large potential. For those who are more familiar with Mario and Luigi's wacky adventures as opposed to Wario's exploits, I'll clue you in. The Wario Land series is essentially a series of 2D puzzle platformers that have traditionally been on Nintendo's handheld consoles. The series began with the release of Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3 for the Game Boy in 1994, and was followed up in 1995 with, and I use the term handheld consoles loosely here, Virtual Boy Wario Land. Yes, it's a thing. After that, two Wario Land titles came out on the Game Boy Color, Wario Land 2 in 1999 and Wario Land 3 in 2000. A Game Boy Advance game was made, aptly titled Wario Land 4 in 2001, and the Wario Land moniker would not be used again until Wario Land Shake It, which came out on the Nintendo Wii in 2008. And as it stands right now, that's the last entry in the series. So yeah, this is what Wario did before he bought a motorcycle and ran off with his freak posse. I got the game in 2001 in preparation for a car trip. Wario Land has been one of the games that I always come back to and play it at least once a year, along with games like Super Mario 64 DS and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, among other fun games to replay. Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, my battery backup failed on my cart, so it can no longer save my game. I could always try to beat this game in one sitting, but it's surprisingly long for a Game Boy Color game. Hey guys, how's it going? I know I haven't made a video in a while, so I decided to think about what games I actually wanted to showcase here. I thought about Wario Land 3, and this is a game that I have absolutely loved since I was a kid. So I thought, what the hell, let's go back, let's try to make a very relaxing video series on Wario Land 3. Alright, so as you can see, Wario was piloting a plane and he crashed into the forest because of course he did. So let's go ahead and start a new game, and you'll notice we have English and Japanese. That I have not seen many carts that are English and Japanese, so that makes this game kind of interesting. So the story of Wario Land 3 is pretty minute at best. You play as Wario, you are just flying your plane and you crash in the forest. And of course that a plane crash wouldn't kill Wario because, I mean, come on, it's Wario. So he finds a cave that has a music box in it, and like any music box that you would come across in the forest, it looks a little bit strange, and it kinda sucks him into it. So that's a warning to everybody watching this video. If you come across a music box in the forest, please don't touch it. This could happen to you. So as we see, we have Wario here sleeping, doing what he does best. So he wakes up, and we're greeted to the only character that has any text in the game. Since there is such a minute amount of text in this game, I'm just gonna go ahead and read it all. Are you aware, Wario? This world is in the music box you were peering into. I was the god that protected this world. But one day, a wicked being sealed away my power and took control of this world. Wario, I want you to find the 5 music boxes needed to break the hidden seal and recover my powers. If you find them, I'll send you back to your own world. Of course, all of the treasure you find is yours to keep. Will you help me? So there you go, there's the story. We got trapped inside of a music box, and we need to find a couple of other music boxes within the music box to restore Wario to his former big self or some crap like that. Alright, so after you complete anything, the game will save, so there's no real reason to save the game. So as you can see, we can go to the temple or the first stage, which is out of the woods. This is something I really like about the game. If you go to the temple at any point, the figure will tell you where to go to. So it's really nice if you ever get lost, and sometimes you can get lost in this game. And yes, that means there is a lot of backtracking in this game. So without further ado, let's start our first world. So this is the first world, out of the woods. Wario controls pretty much like you'd expect a Game Boy Color platformer to. He can walk around, he can jump, he can do this little attack, which is pretty neat because if you do the attack and then jump at the right time, you can get an elongated jump. So that's all we can do right now. We have these enemies, they're called spearheads, I believe. They don't really do much to you right now. You'll notice that we don't actually have a health bar in this game, so anytime you get hit, it's just a minor inconvenience. As you can see there, nothing really bad happens other than, well, you're gonna get inconvenienced. We can go indoors, you know, all the standard Mario stuff. So right now, we can't really swim, we can only do this embarrassing pseudo-doggy paddle. So we're just gonna come back to that later. And you don't have to really kill any of the enemies, and once you go into a room and come out, the whole world resets, because this is a puzzle game, and you're going to have to use some enemies to advance. So let's just keep on going to the right, see what we find, breaking all these blocks along the way. One interesting thing is that if you come to a slope, you can hold the down button, and Wario, well, he does this. This is pretty neat because it allows you to break these weaker blocks, but you can't break these solid blocks right here. So we're just gonna go ahead and do a jump here and find this music coin. I'm not sure exactly what role the music coins play in the game. Alright, so we have an enemy here that actually causes a status effect, and I cannot remember the name of it right now, but this is one of the most annoying status effects, and I'll just show it off here. You become Web Wario, and you keep on bouncing around the room until you've bounced off enough surfaces. As you can see, that is kind of annoying, but we're gonna have to use that quite a bit later on. Another status ailment is fire, and I'll just go ahead and show that off, because there's actually a practical use for it in this stage. So basically, when you're Fire Wario, you jump around like this, and then when you set completely on fire, you know that the status is almost done. But when you're on fire, you can pretty much destroy any enemy, which is kind of cool. So we're going to go back and we're going to get set on fire so I can show you what the status effect blocks are. So let's just get set on fire here and run back over to the left. Now let's see if I can time this right because this is kind of annoying. There we go. So as you can see, these blocks have fire symbols on them and we can break them if we're on fire, which is kind of neat, I guess. We're going to have to do that a couple of times. Right now, that just sends us to another music coin, which, again, not much use of that, but it's pretty neat to find that. Alright, so let's go back to where those enemies were that made us into a giant silk ball, and let's just see what else we can find in this stage. And yes, it's faster to go and roll sometimes. That's how Wario rolls. Pun counter, let's do it. Alright, as you can see, we have found a treasure chest, and if you pause the game, you'll see that we actually have 4 treasure chests in this stage. So this is the gray one, it's the first one. We're going to be hitting a lot of the gray ones first, obviously, since they're the first ones you can get to, but you'll notice that we don't have the key, so when we walk up to it, nothing will happen. So we need to go find the key, and let's just avoid these guys because they're very annoying. And yeah, they'll respawn, so there's no real reason to go and get them there. Okay, so we need to go back over here anyway, so it's a good thing I got set on fire. It's a strat, speedrunning strat. Okay, so we're just gonna wait this out, kill this spearhead because, come on, he's annoying us. And you'll notice we can jump up here. Gee, I wonder what's up here. But we just keep on going up here. Get rid of this spearhead, and we have found the gray key. yep, we can just now go to the end of the stage. And that's pretty much all we have to do for this first stage. And there we go. Okay. So now we just have to not get hit by these guys, which is pretty easy to do, but sometimes if you're very careless, you can get hit by them and be inconvenienced. So there we go. We have completed the first stage, and there are actually 25 worlds in this game, and each of them have 4 treasure chests. So we are going to be doing a 100% run, so we are going to get all 100 of these chests. Sometimes they have power-ups, sometimes they have useless crap, and sometimes they do things like this. See, we got an axe, and we obviously just chopped a tree down, as you could clearly see. So that actually opens up a couple more levels for us. And this is where the game actually branches off. You can go to either of these 2 stages. And the game saves, and then something neat happens, and we have a day-night transition. Now, certain things will happen at night that won't happen during the daytime, and what's neat is if you can go to any level and then you can pause the game and go to the map, and that will send you back to the map and it will transition to day or night, depending on what you're currently at. So I think we need to go back and make it nighttime again. So let's go ahead and just control the night, the sun, the moon. So this is the peaceful village, and it is pretty neat. We're going to be introduced to one of the most obnoxious status ailments, and it's from that guy right there. It's a zombie, and I want to avoid him because it is a very obnoxious status ailment. I will show it off here, but that's only because I have to. So it gives us Zombie Wario, and as you can see, we are incredibly slow, and this is not fun at all. We can't really do anything except for kill everything in one hit. So you might be asking yourself, what good does this status ailment do? Well, you see these thin platforms here? It actually lets you jump through them, so you can actually get to some areas that you couldn't normally get to. And if you touch the light, that'll turn you back into regular Wario. Okay, so we need to become Zombie Wario up here somewhere to get the key. I think it's right over here, so let's get the ailment over here. Jump a couple of times. Jump some more. Kill that guy, because his fire can't affect us. And we can jump down here to get the key. Alright, so we need to jump down some more so we can find the light source and become our regular greedy selves again. And get the music coin just for good measure. Alright, so we're going to come back up here and go into the nearest house because, you know, we don't need to explore the level. And we are just going to go here and end the stage. These gray chests are going to be incredibly easy. Everything else is going to be a little bit more challenging. I'm not going to come out here and say that this game ramps up in difficulty very soon, because actually the game is fairly easy. So we can't do anything in those other 2 stages, so we're going to go to our other open stage, the Vast Plain. Okay, so we have a new enemy here that I believe only appears in this stage, and it's pretty useless here. We can't really see what we're doing because obviously we've been blinded, and I don't want to know what this guy is showing us, but we got to get him off us. So if you hit any surface, he will, you know, get off of us. And there we go. I mean, there's not really much to it. It's just a minor annoyance in this stage, and they're pretty easy to dodge anyway. So this is another status ailment here that plays a role in, I think, this stage and maybe one other. This guy's name is Dr. Science-Stein, and he throws a potion that makes you invisible so you can get past this little area right here. The thing is, if you want to become visible again, you have to go through a pipe. I'm not sure why, but now, as you can see, we can't get past here. So, we want to go back up and become invisible yet again. And where's Dr. Science-Stein? There he is. There we go. Nothing can see us now. And you might think it's really hard to navigate this area, and it's kind of difficult, but, you know, as long as you can see those little puffs of smoke, you should be fine. And there we go. Jump over that guy. Come back over here and get this key. Okay, so now you think we can open the chest, right? Nope, we gotta become visible again. So let's get back down here, go through this pipe that makes us visible for some reason, and go back and do the rest of the stage. So there we go, easy stuff. This first area of the game, very easy. These levels will take you like a couple of minutes. If you know what you're doing, they'll take you even less time. So here we go, we found another treasure, and the last one, as you'll notice, didn't do anything, but this one looks kind of similar to the last one, so we can actually combine the two. And that will open up a whole new area of the game. So as you can see in the top left, we are in the north portion of the world. Now we're going to the west portion of the world. So we haven't gotten any power up, so the best thing to do right now is to just keep on going over to the new levels as they appear. So this is the Desert Ruin, and it is actually the first stage that is significantly different for day and night. As you can see over here, we have a block that is, well, blocking us from getting down there. So if we go over to the left side as opposed to the right side, you will notice that both things are open. This is switched in day and night, and actually what we need to do is locate it in the day, so we need to go back to the map to make it daytime again. And I think very few levels really take advantage of the whole day-night differences, so there's not really much we have to worry about there. So let's go in here. Okay, so let's just get rid of these spearheads, because come on, they're annoying. And we are going to jump as crouched Wario here to get into that space and get our key. So let's go down over here. And we have these spear bots here and hammer bots. And this is an interesting status ailment that I'm going to show off. Yes, this one is another obnoxious one because they try to put these guys way down on these thin platforms that you can't jump down but you can jump up, so they will hinder your progress, especially in an area like this. So you just need to be careful, and they do have quite a range, so you basically want to jump on them and then hit them. And yes, they have a couple of them there at the bottom, which can mess up your run of this stage for all those speedrunners out there. So just want to lure him over here, jump over him. You don't even have to kill him if you don't want to. I mean, they're all going to respawn anyway once you leave the room. And you'll notice that we're gathering coins. If I pause the game, you can see our coin count, which is up to 78. There is only one thing you need to use with coins, and we're not going to see that until a couple of stages away, so just wait for that. It's one of the most fun parts of this game, and I am saying that completely non-sarcastically. Alright, so there we go. There is the gray chest for this world. So as you can see, these stages are actually pretty short. A 100% run of this game is not something that takes up a ton of time. So we got a piece of paper. What could that possibly do? Oh, it does nothing. So what are we gonna do? Right now, I guess we could go talk to the hidden figure to see what he wants us to do. And he tells us to go back to the desert ruins. That's something that can trip a lot of people up, because Maybe your first time playing this game, you wouldn't know that there is a difference between day and night for this stage, but there is. So we're going to head over to the left now and see what we can do here. Here's another status ailment. This basically just makes you really fat, and you know, this one isn't as inconvenient because you can still kind of jump around and, you know, do regular Wario stuff, but you gotta exercise to lose all that weight. So there we go. And yes, that one actually plays a big role later on, so... Ooh, big role, get it? There's a pun for you. So right now, we just kind of want to avoid these guys. And hey, look, we got our first red key. So yeah, this isn't a game where you have to get all of the gray stuff first, and then you go on to all the red stuff. No, everything's kind of like spliced around in this game, which is kind of neat. Let's get rid of this guy. And go up here. And we gotta avoid more of these guys. I've forgotten their name. I really should remember these enemy names. So right here we have I think it's called a beam bot. Oh crap, I wasn't paying attention. I think that's a beam bot, and you'll notice that we have a couple of different bots, like the spear bot and the fire bot. And as you can see, we broke a block down here, and we could go this way, but we need to clear a mini game. Again, I'm gonna say more about that when it becomes apt, but just believe me, it is the most fun part of Wario Land 3. Alright, so these beam bots are kinda neat. They don't really help you in any way, shape, or form, but they do bifurcate you. I always thought that Wario kind of turned into chewing gum there. It kind of looks like gum, I don't know. So I'll just use him to get off the platform faster, and go up here to avoid another one of these guys. There we go. Now we're gonna enter this room, and there we go, it's the red chest. Now, we got half of a piece of paper last time. What do you think we're gonna get this time? Could be anybody's guess. But yes, the other half of the paper. Now you're thinking, wow, we got 2 pieces of a paper. What are we gonna do with this? You know, this could have limitless potential. And we use it to somehow get rid of a tornado. Because, of course, this is a Japanese game, it makes perfect sense. Alright, so we save the game, and we're gonna go to our new area, the Volcano's Base. Now, this is a strange level that we're gonna have to be doing a lot of this sliding for. And I think I went here too soon, we don't have to go here just yet, but it's the first thing you see in the stage. Alright, so let's just nudge this guy out because he's in our way, and get rid of him. So yeah, this level is all about having fun with the sliding mechanics. And one thing that's pretty neat about this game is even if you're just barely on the slope, you can still get the slide to work. I don't know, I would always do that as a kid. I always thought that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Let's get our gray key and go back over here. And I believe we need to get up here on a slide. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have to do that. Kind of hard to remember exactly how you gotta do this, because you don't really have much of a warning ahead of time. So the best way to do it is just memorize everything. And we kind of want to get that coin, so let's just slide over there. And what can be on the other side of this pipe? Well, the most fun aspect of this game, bosses. Now, bosses are very annoying in this game. You see that he's throwing hammers at us, and if we get hit by a hammer, we become one of those little slinky Warios. So, as you can see, we kind of failed that one, but of course, I had to show off the failure. And hey, look, there's the gray chest. So, let's just go and try that again. So yes, if you didn't notice, that actually means we can get hit only once in a boss fight, and you know, it can be kind of difficult, to be honest with you. See, like, I almost got hit there. That was close. Ah! Yeah, see, these boss fights are very unforgiving because for the most part you can only get hit one time. And, you know, if you get hit, you gotta go back and do it again. But fortunately, you spawn very close to where the boss fight is, so you don't have to do a lot of backtracking to go give it another chance. But the thing is, after you have hurt the boss a couple times, he completely respawns, so... And everything about this boss is very random, so you just have to get lucky with it. See, like that, I just get hit with a hammer as I was rebounding off of it. So, I mean, there's no real certain surefire way to get any of these bosses done, because all of them are completely random, and chances are, if you're playing this game, even if you know what to do, you're probably gonna get hit on at least every single boss. There is one boss in particular that is very unconventional and very difficult. So, see, this one's going pretty well. And you gotta hit him one more time. But you don't want to get hit by him because, you know, that's kind of bad. So there we go. So you have to hit him from the back. Obviously, the least fun part of this game are the boss fights, but thankfully there are only a handful. I want to say there are about 5 or 6 different bosses, and you never have to fight them again. Oh, damn it. Everything about this game is really good, in my opinion, except for the boss fights. I don't think that there is a single boss that I actually particularly like. I think all of them are very tedious and unforgiving because, again, you can only get hit one time and then, well, you gotta try it again. But at least they aren't epically long boss fights where you have to, you know, fight for like 10 minutes and then you fail and it's like, oh, well, what do I do now? Ah, well, you gotta try all of it again. So you can jump on this guy's head and stun him. You can stun him there and then get him. So I mean, sometimes it's just chance. And the magical hammer comes down to congratulate us and levitate us to the chest, which is always nice. We can always go out this way, you know, but, you know, what's the point of doing that? We could just end the level here. So, as you can tell, we don't ever have to fight that boss again, which is nice. But if we ever go in that area again, we will fight him again. So, there you go. If you just want to replay the boss fights, you're always welcome to. So here we go. We got our first power-up, and every time you get a power-up, it gives you a little tutorial, and I think they are the coolest things. They're just so minimalistic. And here we have the ground pound, which means that we can crush objects with our massive tuchus. Because we are Wario, we're a very hefty, voluptuous Wario, so we have to use what God gave us. And by God, I do mean Miyamoto. So you'll see that 2 levels started flickering. That means that we can access new things in those 2 levels. So the 2 levels that flickered were the vast plain and Out of the Woods. And, you know, I think we should go back to the first level because it's good to remember where you came from. So let's just go ahead and sit on these blocks with our voluptuous tuchus and go over here and, you know, destroy some enemies with this voluptuous tuchus of ours. And as you'll notice, at nighttime, all of the enemies are asleep, which is kind of neat. I don't think that there is really much of a difference between the daytime and nighttime of this stage. But some of them, like the desert level, some of them are pretty different. So there we go, we see another mini-game clear, and, you know, it's blocking the way to the red chest, so that means we're gonna have to play a mini-game. So first we need to find the mini-game, and just need to destroy some more blocks because that's just so much fun. This guy will give us a strange status ailment, and let's just go ahead and activate it real quick. So he, in turn, sits on us with his voluptuous tuchus, and we become flattened Wario. And this guy's kind of in our way. There we go. The only way to alleviate ourselves of this is to get hit by that robot, but I accidentally hit him back, so we have to respawn him. And there we go. So yeah, sometimes robots will help you. Much more than this guy. I mean, come on, what is this guy? Alright, so we basically just have to go over here. And you can get that music coin if you want. I don't want to. But we are going to go over here and get this red key. I don't think we need that guy, so we're just going to hit him. Alright, break more blocks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this guy's here just to inconvenience you. And here we go. It is the minigame, and the minigame is, well, I will admit, it's a little bit more fun than the boss fights. So as you can see here, we go over here, and we have to use 10 coins to play this game. And it is golf, so this is Wario Golf, 2 games in 1. It's great, it's gonna be so much fun. Only it isn't. So we have to hit this little guy into the massive hole. So how are we going to do that? Standard Mario Golf, we are going to hit the A button and that will trigger our bar down there, and then hit it again when we get back to the red area. So if we do full power, we're going to hit the bunker, so we might want to give it a little bit less power. So there we go. This is golf. It is so much fun. Ooh, look at that. We can give it full power. Alright. Up. If we do full power there, we're gonna go out of bounds. Up. So we're actually pretty close here. We wanna just give it a little bit, and there we go. So yeah, those are fun, kind of, not really. They're marginally fun, they're barely fun. But we get a lot of money in this game, so it's never really much of a financial drain. Especially since, I mean, you use money for nothing else in this game. So, there we go. We can actually finish the stage now. And some of the golf courses later on get kind of ridiculous, so that one was pretty tame. So we got a blue potion, obviously. You know, those are always great. So obviously we opened the pot, and a big cloud comes out that will rain in this one specific hole. Because that is exactly how weather works. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. So, we opened up 2 new stages there, and A Town in Chaos is one of my least favorite. I think almost solely because it is one of the least memorable. So we also opened up something on the vast plains, so we might want to go tick that real quick. So let's just torture that frog there, who is for some reason holding up that plank, and come down here. So we actually get introduced to another status ailment down here, which is fairly annoying. These guys will prick you, and for some reason when you get pricked, you become a balloon, and that one spearhead saved us from a fate worse than death. But we're gonna go back here because we're a daredevil. We're gonna do it again. So basically, you're gonna fly up like a balloon until you hit a solid object. And that is always fun. And yes, we are going to have to solve a couple of puzzles with that. Obviously, or they would not have put it in the game. So let's just go back here, torture that frog a little bit more. And get that one last block, because I am a completionist on this game. So we want to avoid these guys and go play another minigame, because of course we do. Now you're probably asking, Ben, are these going to become really frequent? And my answer is yes, they are. So there's no smart way to play this stage, you just gotta go hit the rough. So there we go. And just like Mario Golf, if you're in the rough or the bunker, it will affect your shot a little bit, but we have par 4, so, you know, we have a couple of extra shots to spare. So there you go, that's what happens when you lose. You get game over and you gotta try it again. And you know, when that happens, it's always just a soul-crushing experience. We got the same stage, so let's try to do exactly the same thing we did last time, only a little bit better. There we go, and I've noticed that on this emulator, the mini-games kind of freak out a little bit, which is strange. So, there we go. We got it this time. Easy stuff. We just had to pay 10 extra coins. You know, expendable. Come on, that's an expense that we can actually cope with. So let's not get hit by these guys because they're really annoying. But let's get hit by this guy because we need to solve a puzzle. And there we go. Hey look, it's the red chest. And look, there's the red key over there. So, let's go over here and solve this quagmire of a puzzle by relying on this guy to get us out of this jam. Alright, so now we can just go over here, break these blocks, and get the red key. So unfortunately, we have to go back out to get back down there, which is just a little bit of annoyance, but it's okay, it's fine. This game, it's a very relaxing game, I find, to be honest with you. Just a neat little puzzle game where you don't have a health bar. You have no worries except for solving all of the puzzles, which can be pretty easy. See if I can hit that thing. Nope. Okay. It's relaxing until something like that happens. Try to speed through this game and you will get burned, so don't try it. But I do recommend this game. You can find it on the eShop for, I think it's $6 or so, because of course a game made 15 years ago is still worth $6, according to Nintendo. I mean, hell, I bought it, but that's only because it's one of my favorite games of all time. You might be able to find a working copy of it, if you can find a cartridge. I still have my cartridge of this game, but a couple years ago the battery backup stopped working, so I can't save games on it. So I kind of had to buy it on the eShop if I wanted to continue playing it. Plus I have one of those new DS, whatever the fuck they're called, extra large, and the bigger screen resolution is pretty nice. Alright, so we got what looks like a crayon, and what does it do? Well, it goes and colors this area. So when we walk through it, you'll notice that there is actually a blue hue to it. And you think, well, what does that do? Well, I'll tell you when it becomes a little bit more apt. But for right now, we shouldn't worry about it. And on that note, get it because this game's all about music and whatever. I'll see you guys in the next video.